Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So in front of us is the latest generation for the Chevrolet Camaro. This is a ZL1 finished off in black. They have a starting MSRP right around $67,000. So we are going to start off today's review with what powers, if we can find the hood release, what powers the top trim level for the Chevrolet Camaro. Underneath the hood, this has a 6.2 liter supercharged V8 that is paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission. You can opt for the 6-speed manual, pumping out 650 horsepower, 650 pound-feet of torque. It is sent to the rear wheels, propelling this 4,000-pound muscle car from 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. Top speed is just shy of 200 miles an hour. This also has a fuel economy of around 14 miles per gallon in the city, 20 out on the highway. Really not all that bad compared to the miles per gallon that you will be getting out of this vehicle. Now, as we work our way to the front end design, the ZL1 is basically designed for maximum aerodynamics, downforce, and not really too much fuel efficiency, but a lot of cooling is provided to this engine with all the cutouts that you see. Chevy even went to the extent of making the Chevy bow tie hollow, so that way it can get that much more airflow to that engine. Plenty of cutouts in that lower grille, as well as large air inlets on each side. So those are completely exposed with that gap. Now, this also has LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals. Hopefully you can currently see that they are on at the moment with the vertical one in that lower section. They do have a sunken in look to them. So there's that bodywork running across the entire front end. Very iconic for the Camaro. Gives it that sunken in look to add to that aggressive design. This also has a massive front splitter, which is nicely incorporated. And then that center bulge for the hood, being body colored, really flows nicely. But there's also functional heat extraction vents in that area there. So the airflow can go right up through and then extend over the roof line. So it's a really nice front end design. Now for the side, this has a set of 20-inch wheels with the Brembo brakes, 6 pistons up front, 4 pistons in the rear. Really nice wheel color to complement this black, basically giving this a very classy appearance with the performance that it has. Body colored side mirrors, no sunroof for this model. And then these side skirts also poke out to match that front lip, as you will see right in that area there. And then there's also another line just above that gas cap for the rear fender arch. So pretty clean lines in the front half, and then for the rear to cover the wider rear tires there. In the back, this has a gloss black trunk mounted spoiler. For the shark fin antenna, there's also an additional camera, so you'll see that once we hop into the interior. This has a regular backup camera, the 3D dimensional design for these taillights, all of the parking sensors, and then that quad tip dual exhaust, which sounds so good for a factory vehicle. Now, as we work our way to the cargo space, you can double tap the button on the key fob. What I really like and what is practical, if this is your daily driver, you don't even have to grab the key fob. Just push on that button and you have easy access. Now, the one downside to this car is the fact that the opening is a little bit on the small side compared to the other muscle cars available. However, once you can finagle those items in, you have a decent amount of space. The back seat does fold down, so that gives you a little bit more space, a little bit more underneath, but there's some other components there like the tire kit and all that. But for a daily driver, you do have an ample amount of space to at least throw in some items as you would need to. For the interior, door panels covered in alcantara with all the red stitching. This also has the interior ambient lighting, so that strip is running right through this brush trim piece. There's the window adjustments, side mirror adjustments, even the memory seating adjustments, release handle. This has the Bose audio, there's a trunk release, and a little bit of storage in the back section of that door. Camaro's also in large print on the door sill, which is cool to see. And for the Recaro bucket seats, ZL1 is in the middle with the Recaro badge. They are leather and alcantara, heated and ventilated, with the power adjustments down on the side. All of the red stitching and piping and red seat belts is a great touch to see for this interior. Now, to gain access to the back seats, you can pull on this tab. You do have to move the seat by yourself here, so it won't automatically do it once you pull that tab. So with that seat moved forwards, we have the rear seats, which fold down in one section, which is nice. So you can get a view from this side. And at 5'10", hopping into the back, not the most graceful. You're not buying this to be a full 4-seater vehicle, but if I needed to be around town, 5 or 10 minutes is really about it. There's a wireless charging pad in the middle and the same attention to detail as you saw up front. If you have kids, this would be, hitting my head. If you have kids, this would be a little bit more practical with smaller kids in the back. As far as headroom goes, 5'10", I'd want to be in the front seats, but I could make it work if I really needed to. But it's nice to have that additional storage or for that third or fourth person in a pinch if you need it. We have an Alcantara steering wheel with the flat bottom design. Cruise control settings are on the left side with the heated steering wheel adjustment. There's favorites, volume for the audio, and then this also has all these controls for the gauge cluster. So let's fire this up so we can go through all of that. You can hear this come to life. Has a really good tone to it just from a startup. Now for the gauge cluster, on the left side is the tach, right side is the miles per hour. There's also fixed information running across the top, like the fuel level, along with the oil temperature and a few other vitals. And then currently it is showing miles per hour. You can scroll down, look at trip information. There's fuel range and fuel economy, oil life, tire pressure, even a lap timer and a blank page. And going to the left, this is your home icons basically. I can go into performance, pull up G-force meter, and there's a few other vitals that you can scroll through. If you're doing some spirited driving, this is where you can monitor some of that performance and some of those important vitals. There's audio, navigation, and phone. And then under options, you can go into launch control, and then there's a few other units and settings just to configure as needed. We have the paddle shifters for that 10-speed automatic transmission. And then on the left side, there's the head-up display adjustments. So currently it is showing a G-force meter along with the miles per hour and the tach. I can change that to adjust miles per hour. I can pull up the audio with that, the compass, and we are back to that setting. You can also adjust the brightness and the height depending on the visibility that you need for that. Now right in the middle with the touchscreen system, it's laid out very well, super simple to go through. On this part of the home screen, there's audio as well as phone, and then all the icons for the rest of your audio settings, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, there's all of your climate adjustments, even the interior lighting. So it's super easy to go through, along with the shortcuts down below, so that way you can quickly get into that information. Now there's a home icon underneath that, along with volume and tuning, and a back button on that right side. And then for the toggles underneath that, like I mentioned earlier, heated and ventilated seats, all the AC adjustments, like where you'd like the air to go, fan speed. This is how you adjust the temperature for driver and passenger with the dual zone, just by twisting on that fan, and you can shut it off easily right in the middle there. The hazards are in front of the shifter, which is finished off in Alcantara. And with this in reverse, this is the only angle that you get, along with the guidelines, which you can turn on and off. And then you can also shift using the shifter itself or those paddle shifters like I mentioned. Traction control is just behind that, and this has a few different driving modes. So there's a touring mode along with sport, track, and then snow and ice. So that is going to modulate the throttle response with the limited slip differential as well, just to help with the amount of power that this vehicle has. E-brake is behind that with a 12 volt. There are two cup holders with more of that ambient lighting. And then, oops, for the center armrest, there's some auxiliaries, a little bit of space, so you do have some room there. A lot more in the glove box though for the additional items that you may have. Now, as far as visibility goes from the driver's seat, it's really not as bad as I think people make it out to be. You can see all around. We have the camera system too, which gives you that much more visibility. But as you drive this, you get used to where you need to look, of course. But the camera system is a great update for this Camaro. But now let's go ahead and get this out on the road. And so now from second gear, here we go. Get some pops in that factory exhaust. That sounds very, very good. And we are up to speed just like that. So again, for roughly 70 grand, what's interesting is the fact that with the Camaro, you can buy one as cheap as high 20s, low 30s for more of a base model. So just depending on your budget, the type of Camaro that you're looking for as far as the performance, you have a large range there, all the way up to about 70K for this one, just depending on what is going to fit your lifestyle. So if you want to get the most performance oriented, or you're just looking for that sports car vibe, you want the sports car style, you just want something that's going to be nice and easy to drive, fuel efficient, like the 4-cylinder that is available for the Camaro. It's pretty cool to see that wide range. Not too many other cars offer that. The Mustang does, the Challenger does, but as far as trim levels that go that high in price difference, not too many other vehicles offer that. So it's pretty cool to see that for the Camaro. Again, just depending on what you want to buy. And it's been a fun ride. Turning radius is also pretty good. I think I'm going to have to turn around here with that backup camera, and you can see from this angle how much visibility there is behind this. And here we go with another acceleration. We'll leave it in the normal setting here. Definitely sounds good. So if you're in the market for pretty much a 2-seater, you have the option in the back there, trunk space. If you just want a good daily driver that's highly performance oriented, definitely check out the Camaro, because this is a good combination. With the exterior, it's a really classy look with this particular model. But I think that is going to wrap it up for the latest generation for the Camaro ZL1. Once again, a huge shout out and thank you to Carolina Auto Direct for providing this vehicle for me today. Check out their website, that link is down below. Give the video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.